Welcome, Jordan here. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the one biggest domino that if you can knock this in your life, will radically transform everything. And I say this because I've walked this path for the last number of years. And I can honestly say that getting to the root and the truth of what creates real long-term transformation for someone is something I've dedicated my life to. There is no shortage of surface level answers out there. But I have always got frustrated at surface level answers. I've always saw past the illusion of the surface level. Now, those surface level solutions to problems, and we'll get into what those are in a second, can be helpful. I'm not ignoring them. But to create real long-term sustainable change in your life, it requires going deep. So what we're going to be discussing here is getting past the surface, past the middle ground, and down to the root of what is actually going to be the biggest domino to knock to radically transform your life. And I'm sharing this because this has been such a powerful part of my life and my own journey. And I can't deny how much this has an impact on my life. Still to this day, it's something I continue to do. It's the essence of what this channel represents. So if we look at surface level solutions to problems, let's look at some examples of this. We're looking at making more money, for example. Make more money, get this strategy in place, do these actions, and you create results. That's a surface level answer, right? There's nothing really deep about it. It's a set of inputs and outputs, and that's it. If we were to go a layer deeper behind that, it would be, what is the energy that is fueling your actions? Is it coming from lack, where you need validation from people, where you need something to work for you so you can prove yourself? What is the energy driving those actions? That's a layer deeper. If we were to go deeper again, it's yes, the energy driving your actions, but the identity that you hold when you are taking those actions. Who do you believe yourself to be? Do you believe yourself to be someone who has to grind until their eyes bleed in order to create any amount of success? Because at the other side of that, you hope that one day the success that you create is going to give you some form of feeling within to make you feel whole, to make you feel like you deserve the life that you have. That is an energy of lack driving everything. And if we go layer deeper than that, it's the identity at the identity level. And we're going to get into this deeper in this video. Another example of this is going to the gym. I want to lose weight. I want to gain muscle. Go to the gym. Again, we are not saying that these aren't helpful solutions, but they are surface level solutions. Go to the gym. Get into a routine. Yes, that is helpful. Layer deeper. What is driving those actions? Do you go to the gym because you hate your body and you wish that you were different? Because you're not enough the way that you are? Or are you going to the gym because you want your body to be a physical representation of God and the light that you carry within from wholeness? Very different energy. And one will create substantial results compared to the other. A layer deeper than that is, who do I believe myself to be? Do I have the identity of an athlete that is coming from this place of wholeness? Or am I coming from this identity of, I just need this to feel better about myself because then I'll maybe be able to attract women or a man. Or I need to do this because then I will finally feel enough if I just get this body. We're going deep here. So we're looking at these surface level solutions. Let's get to the one biggest domino that knocks all of these into place. This is the healing journey. The journey of getting to the root of the energy that is driving all the behavior in your life. When you get to the root of that and you heal that part of you, everything else follows from that. You don't have to spend your time over-efforting, performing, taking action from this place of just complete lack. And again, there's no judgment here, but I'm saying that there's a better way. There's a better way to shortcut the path for yourself and to experience the feelings and emotions that you really at the deepest level desire to experience from what you are doing in the first place now. And building, training, growing, whatever it is that you're doing from that place of wholeness is the biggest domino. It solves everything else. And it's not a point of you arrive at this point and then that's it. It's a constant evolution, but yes, there is incredible milestones along the way. I, for many years, was pulled into this journey of needing to prove myself, needing to constantly work hours and hours and hours in the hopes that one day I would eventually reach this promised land. And it got me nowhere, right? There's two outcomes that can come from that time of energy. Either you're spinning your wheels, you're not making any progress, or you kind of get some progress, but it doesn't even feel any bit fulfilling when you do. And it's like this mental grind of everything is just hard. Since when have we adopted this belief that that's just the truth? Why are we choosing to believe that to be true? Right? We choose our beliefs. Who taught us that that is the right way to go about things? Well, when you look at authority figures and you look at people who have accomplished things in the past, we look at that to base our future on. But the real leaders who carve a new way challenge the old way of thinking. So we got to question these things as to, is this really the best way to do things? How do I feel about walking this path? Because if this works for someone else, amazing. We're not judging here at all. But does it work for you? Does it actually work for you? Or is there a better way? So that's the one way. The other way is you accomplish all the different things along the way. The milestones, the money, and you have all the things, but you feel the same lack in yourself because nothing changed internally. Everything may have changed externally. And that's the lesson that points you back into yourself to dissolve the lack and to come back to wholeness. The whole purpose of our journey here, from my perspective, from a soul level, beyond the mind, beyond the body, the soul came here to transform negativity into positivity, right? From a very basic level understanding, which means that we have this constant feeling of lack in our life because we are human beings and that is why we're here. It's part of our karmic cycle, it's part of our journey to feel this negativity. You could even go as deep, right? And we're going to go there to say that you actually chose the experiences that you have in your life. Your soul chose them, not you logically in your mind. Let's get out of the mind. Your soul chose these experiences so that you could experience it, what it was like to have a mother that was the way that she was, a father that was the way that he was, so that could bring out the negativity within you so you could heal it and let it go and realize your true essence and your true power. And I can't even begin to describe how powerful this has been in my life, which is why I share this with you today. Because I'm speaking about myself here, right? When I say you, I mean me. And when I say me, I mean us. We're all here in this together, right? So when we look at this journey and we look at this path of healing, a lot of the time it can get lost in the spiritual world, right? And it can sound nice, but what does it really mean? It really means you are unlocking what it truly means to be you. It's not this nice thing that's a cool thing to do or it's nice and cute. It's literally the foundation of transformation. It's the one biggest domino that knocks everything else in your life. I have sat in the pocket of dense energy and negativity with some incredible men that I've served on a one-to-one level. And I'm not going to lie. There's been some heavy stuff. Sexual abuse, pornography addiction. There's been lack of business results because of self-worth and guilt from past events in our life. And all of these experiences are neutral, but they can hold a heavy weight when they're not let go. And men do not have a voice these days to be able to speak these things into existence. But when I sit down one-to-one with a client and we work through these things, the shifts that happen are beyond what we can comprehend in our mind. Because that part of that feeling, that emotion that's causing the blockage in the full expression of love and joy and peace and happiness and wealth gets seen. It gets liberated. It starts to free itself. It's gone. But it takes acknowledging it first. That takes courage. The healing journey is the most courageous thing that you can do in your life. It's beyond these material achievements of stacking wins in business or achieving all these numbers. They're incredible milestones. I'm not disregarding them. They're absolutely amazing. But how deep can you go into yourself to unlock the part of you that is looking to be seen? How deep are you willing to go into your own soul to transform? Because you can chase the surface level solutions all you want, but you will never experience what you truly desire to experience. And I know because I've walked this path. Because it is a death and it is a rebirth. It is something that is so powerful, it absolutely knocks everything else out of the water. Because you realize, not from me telling you, but from you going through the journey yourself, that when you go into that part of you, that little boy within, that little girl within, that feels like they were not enough, that feels like they were too much, that did not get the love that they desired. When you get to that part of you and you heal it and you transform and you let it go, yeah, that can go deep. It can be heavy. It's not easy. But on the other side of that, you rise like a phoenix, beyond what anyone could ever teach you strategically or tactically, but these surface level solutions. We want to talk about identity shift. Identity shift is going so deep within yourself that you cannot help but emerge and rise like the master that you are. You become your own guru. You become a leader, an embodied leader that has healed the core essence of what it truly means to be a human. And that's your specific journey. This is why it's the biggest domino, because when you knock that domino, everything else just falls into place. You elevate in your energetic frequency and vibration, right? You want to talk about frequency and vibration and emotions? The reason that you can't experience pure joy, love, deep fulfillment is because there's still the darkness that's here that has not been seen or felt, because it's the principle of polarity. We can't experience joy and fulfillment if we don't go into the darkness here. Instead, we live in the gray zone of mediocre and okay. Nobody wants to live there. It's miserable. It's the same. It's monotonous. It's boring. We don't experience the fullness of what it means to be a human being. I'll tell you right here, right now, the amount of times I have gone on this journey deep within my own self, healing that inner child within, and cried my eyes out at that healing process. And I'm saying this to you right here, right now. The depths of that absolutely transformed my life. And that's just one little segment of it. Because on the other side of that, I was able to experience the joy, the love within that I could never experience before. Because the degree that you experience that love, joy, that passion, that elevated frequency, that is just so powerful to be around when you're around someone like that. To experience that, we have to experience this, which is the darker side. It's the sitting with the shadow. It's the sitting with the parts of you that felt unloved. It's sitting with the parts of you that nobody saw, nobody recognized, nobody clapped, nobody told you that it was a good trait to have or it was a good way to be, because everybody tried to put you in a box and told you who you should be. When you see that part of yourself, it's game over. It's game over. Right? This is why I talk about the reparenting process, the healing of the inner child. Think about your inner child for a second. Think about the little boy or the little girl within that walked around with curiosity, walked around with wonder in the world, that felt joy and love for everyone around them. Right? If you look at a child, they're running around, they're laughing one minute, they're crying another minute, they're playing with toys, they're doing this, they're doing all sorts of things. And it's just this changing wave of emotion. They don't judge their emotions. They just feel whatever they're feeling in the moment and they move on. They can't even remember crying two minutes ago. They don't even remember it because it's not the present moment anymore. But when we start to stack this programming that starts to come in from society around us and the people around us, we start to constantly judge ourselves for how we're feeling. We stop ourselves from experiencing what it's like to walk around with wonder, with love for everybody around us, right? That's not to say people aren't going to annoy you. It's not to say you're not going to get frustrated. We're not saying that you just got to force yourself to be happy all the time. It's not about that. But when you elevate in your vibrational frequency and you see that the reality around you is simply just a mirror for your frequency and how you feel within, you won't experience the same negativity because you don't have it within anymore because you've healed it. This is the thing. The reason people experience so much negativity, because I was there. I was in the depths of negativity. I couldn't even control my own mind. My mind would take me to the darkest places and I had no idea what was going on. I thought I was going insane so many times in my life before I discovered what was actually going on. I was in the depths of it. So I would experience all of this negativity around me. Everything around me was heavy and dense and out to get me, and I felt like a victim constantly because I was stuck in victim consciousness. I was stuck in the consciousness of poor me. Everything is hard. The whole world is out to get me. Not because of any fault of my own. I just didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand the journey that I'm describing to you here. All of those things were the exact things I need to catapult me into healing all of them. And hey, I'm still walking that path, right? Still walking that path. But it is such a powerful path. Because when you heal that inner child within, right? And it's not always the inner child. Sometimes it's the inner teenager. Sometimes it's the young adult version of you. But they can always be dated back and back and back because time and reality is all happening now. So when you heal the inner child now, you're time traveling back in time, which is what I do in the one-to-one identity reset sessions with clients. It's the most profound session that we do together because we literally go back in time into that moment, heal those things, and just transform in a second. It's just ridiculous what happens. It's incredible because that's the method I've used of myself consistently. Then you start to liberate yourself from the heavy weights and anchors that we're just walking around with all the time, wondering why we can't generate the results that we want to generate. When we go back in and we focus on that part of us, and we heal that part of us, we heal our heart, we get out of our mind. The mind is here to give you this experience of physical reality. The ego is there to, yes, it's not a negative thing, it's there to be your partner, but it will control you if you don't know how to control it. And the only way to control it, control I use very lightly here, is to come from the heart, is to lead from the heart. But that takes going into the heart and healing these parts of you that feel like you're not enough or that feel like you are not worthy of the things that you say you want, even if you have the desire to consciously. We got to move from the conscious mind into the subconscious. The subconscious is the heart, it is the nervous system, it's the body, it's all of these components that are deeper, that hold your self-perspective, your self-identity. When we get to those roots and we fully liberate yourself from those stuck feelings, those anchors that you're carrying around every single day, hoping that they just go away by themselves, they will not go away by themselves. They just won't. You have to go into them. There's no other way than to just go into them. Or you spend your whole life ignoring them. But if you're watching this video and you're still with me right now, you don't want to just ignore them. You don't want to. Because you have these desires, you know where you want to go. You know that it's going to take a shift to get there. I'm telling you what the shift is. And that's it. I'm not here to make your life more complicated because I don't want to make my life more complicated either. I'm here to find truth. I'm here to find not the truth, my truth. And this truth has transformed my life. Right? So I'm sharing it with you here. And when we get to that truth for us, we know in our heart that if we just focus on that, we're good. That's why I created this tool to identify the number one subconscious block. The feedback has been incredible. Why? Because it brings clarity. I don't have this big, long laundry list of different things to work on right now. I don't have to spend my time binge watching self-development content because I don't need to. I have the one thing. And we all have this kind of theme, right? At least from my perspective and people I've worked with. There's kind of one or two, sometimes three different themes, right? It's usually something based around fear or self-worth or something around a self-perspective that is just limiting, right? Let's put it that way. You can check out that tool in the description below if you want to get that for yourself and identify what that number one thing is. It's a simple tool. It will take less than 30 minutes. And these are the things that give us the clarity to not stack this big to-do list of I need to work on this and this and this and this. That's overwhelming. We don't want to do that. We're just going to reject the idea of it. It's too much. What's the one thing? Is it maybe it's the feeling of not being enough, or that things always have to be hard because of it? That was ingrained deeply. When we understand that that's the one thing, okay, well, now it's about identifying that, clearing that, right? And then embodying the shift. I'm going to create another video on this because the embodiment of the shift is the most, it's the next step of what we're talking about here. It's huge. I'm going to get to that. The journey of healing is the thing that's going to knock everything else into place. And I know that's such a wild promise. Like it almost feels like it's not believable, but it is. So let's look at this from the lens of how this affects everything else, right? Let's say you have this deep-rooted belief that you are not enough the way that you are. How do you think that that affects business, first of all? Because that's the identity that you hold, which means that the energy that you emit, no matter what you do, as long as you hold that identity, it's going to be a feeling of lack, a feeling of I'm not enough. So I must do this thing in the hopes that I feel enough. I must sign this client. I must hit this income. I must build this system because then I might be enough. That's a subconscious program that's running underneath all of it. So how do you think that affects the people that you attract to your business, customers, clients? The products that you create now hold that energy of lack, right? We think that like, oh, you just do actions and it's separate to us in some way, shape or form. It's not. Humans are made up of a 99% energy. Everything that we create, everything that we put out into the world, everything that we experience is a representation of our energy. Every video you create, if you find blockages around creating content, if you're building a personal brand, it's because there's a part of you that's not being fully seen and expressed within yourself in your own little private life, which means that you can't express that to other people because you haven't expressed it to yourself. Again, it comes back to the journey. You cannot let the world see your authentic self if you haven't even seen your authentic self yet. And your authentic self has these things that want you to heal them so you can let them go and be your authentic self. So if you're looking at an online business, this directly correlates to authenticity and attracting, amazing clients to you using your content. Like it's the knock-on effect, right? It's the same thing. You go to the gym. You go to the gym and you carry this energy of I'm only going to be enough if I work on my body. If I'm only going to be enough, or I will get rid of this lack if I look a certain way. Well, now your whole self-identity is based on how you look. So if you have one off day in the gym, or if you have one day where you don't look as big as you used to, or you don't look as the way that you would like to, your whole self-identity crumbles. Now you feel like you feel terrible. You see what I mean? Because it's all in the mind, right? We're getting out of the mind here. So your self-worth is now based on the gym, numbers that you hit in business, how people respond to you. Like it's all outside of you. You have no control over any of it. So you're on this up and down scale because you're not grounded in your center of truth, knowing who you are, knowing that regardless of any of these things around you, you are fully whole within. You need none of it. You want to talk about attachment for a second? Attachment to outcomes, right? I can't, if you look at the personal development content around crafting reality, attachment is a big topic. It comes from Buddhism and many other roots in ancient wisdom. You want to dissolve attachment? Don't do anything from lack. Go on the journey of healing that within so that you feel whole within, so that regardless of what you do, you're not attached to it because you don't need it to give you a sense of worth. You see what I mean? It trickles into everything. Relationships, love, the biggest one. You come from an energy of lack in dating. You come from an energy of lack in your relationship, your marriage, or whatever the case is. What do you think is going to be mirrored back to you? Lack. It's going to be hard. It's going to be resistance. It's not going to be love. It's going to be attachment. It trickles into everything. This is why it's the biggest domino, right? You could look at friendships. You could because this is the thing. When you operate from that deeply seated wound within that is not healed, that is looking for you to go into it, then that is the mirror that you experience in reality. And I've lived this, right? I used to feel such a heavy and dense energy of not feeling enough. So therefore, trying to get into a relationship where I was going to feel loved was me trying to experience what I was not giving to myself from somebody else. It's not possible. The mirror of reality was just signaling back to me the same lack. And I got frustrated and I was in victim energy and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing all this work. But I was missing the big picture. It was only when I stopped feeding that cycle of lack was when I actually attracted a great relationship into my life. It's the same thing with business, finances, money. This goes into masculine and feminine energy. We'll get into that in other videos. But money is the same thing. Money is in abundance, right? You've probably heard money in abundance. So if like attracts like, and we are attracting and we are bringing into our life what is within us, and we're coming from lack, then why do you think the money is going to be in your life? There's going to be a lack of money. Or even when you have money, you're still going to feel lack. So you'll be like, I have this money, but I still feel unfulfilled. I still feel empty. And then likely it will trickle away, because it has to trickle away, because it's not coming from wholeness. It's the one biggest thing that if you just solve that, everything else slots into place. And again, I know it's a bold statement, but that's what we're here to do. That's why I'm sharing this with you right now. This is the most powerful work that you will ever do in your life. And it doesn't have to be hard. It can be very, very simple. And if you want to get my support, just check out some of the links down below. This is what I do for a living. I've dedicated my life to this. Why? Because I'm not here to make your life more difficult or my own. Heal the things that are blocking everything else and move on and live your life. And we can stop being addicted to chaos. We can stop being addicted to needing things to make us feel a certain way, and instead just experience that wholeness now, and then everything comes as a byproduct of that, because you don't need it. It's powerful stuff. We're going to leave it there for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear what's coming up for you. Voice it. What's coming up? Because this is a deep topic, but let's keep going deeper on this channel. Let's keep going deeper. Sending you so much love. So much love. I appreciate your time and energy here, and I'll see you in the next video.